sit down and you go, ah. Like that was the workout of the day. Good morning again. Being Eddie, which is his documentary, you watched it, on Netflix. And I was surprised because I guess I knew when I was most kind of tuned in to Eddie, it was Beverly Hills Cop and Trading Places and then his stand-up stuff. And then he started to have kids, and he became an adult. And all his movies became for children. And which was beautiful, but they weren't the kind of movies that I was interested in. And so I kind of lost track of him. And then recently, it was like 30 years later, he did Beverly Hills Cop. Was it 3 or 4 or something? Anyway, I'm so glad I watched that movie because I want to tell you, it's been 5 decades for him. He has hung around and known some of the biggest names in show business. And while, as we know, a lot of them went the way of destroying themselves, he never tried cocaine, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, and didn't even try marijuana until he was 30. I don't know that you don't have to laugh, but that restraint ties back to a deeper code that he describes as his biggest blessing. I love myself, he says. Always loved myself. That's the most important thing. That's the one reason why I didn't destroy myself. I had all the temptations and all the madness that everybody else has, but I always loved myself. When the noise gets loud, he returns to a simple lifelong practice. Prayer is the only really powerful thing you can do, he says. That's always been a part of my life. I've always been centered spiritually, grounded spiritually. So there you go. Eddie Murphy. He might fit in here. I'm not sure why you're so quiet this morning. Yeah, we could use his laughter. Oh, one quick thing, as soon as he laughed for the first time in the movie, I was so disappointed because I remember his laugh from Beverly Hills Cop. Do you remember that? It was so unique. It was kind of this high thing. Am I all alone here today? No. And so I wondered where that laugh went. And he actually said, I had to change my laugh because I didn't want to be pigeonholed with that laugh and that become sort of a thing of its own. So anyway. So the title of today's talk is Seeing Beyond Appearances. Thinking of Eddie Murphy, thinking of each one of us, thinking of the world, seeing beyond appearances. And let me say that is actually the foundation of new thought. That's what metaphysics is. The ability to see beyond the physical, the appearances. Because we're human and divine. In our human nature, we have to deal with facts. And sometimes those aren't even clear these days. It's all temporary, it's all changing. But there's also that aspect of us, that divine aspect, spirit, soul, that deals in truth. It is infinite, it is eternal. Can you be both of those right now? You can't not be. You are human and divine. And I love Brett's reading today. I am, what was it? Infinite essence. I put it up here again, actually. And so what is essence? It's the intrinsic nature of something, or indispensable quality of something. So without which it would not exist or be what it is. So your infinite essence, you would not exist without it. So whether you feel it or not at times, or whether you be it in expression at times or not, you still are it. This time of year, the world says it's cold flu season. And Unity says, I am healthy, whole, and well. Yeah, let's say that together. I am healthy, whole, and well. And so it is. The world says prices are skyrocketing. And Unity says, I am abundantly blessed and prospered. The world says, as we age, we tend to lose our mental faculties. We lose muscle, gain weight. Nobody here, not talking about anybody here, but the truth is, I am divinely guided and make choices that support my brain and body. I am vibrantly alive. Woo, I say that one again. I am vibrantly alive. So you're getting this sense of how we sort of walk this thin line. And we do spend an awful lot of time, focus, and energy on the physical and on our humanity. And for us to know that we can see beyond appearances, and that that's a very important aspect, these affirmations are a very important aspect of our humanity. Because the truth is, in this reality, our connection to all that is, spirit, God, is through this body and the consciousness of this brain. You know the difference between the brain and the mind. The brain is the actual, bloody stuff, bushy, gooey gooey stuff up there, the gray matter. And the mind, that's consciousness. That's what is thinking. That's what is making choices. And I'm not going to go into the whole map of the brain, but that prefrontal cortex is the really important part there. That's the executive branch. That's the executive office. That's where you make your decisions that can be of a divine nature or from your human nature. We are making those choices moment by moment, day by day, every day. So consciousness. This is not airy-fairy stuff, folks. Our co-founders, Charles and Merle Fillmore, some of you have heard this story, and some of you have heard it 100 times. I'm going to tell it today because not everybody has heard it. And that is that Unity started on this foundation of being able to see beyond appearances, not getting stuck in what the world says, but getting stuck in or living in, thriving in what is the truth, what is my spiritual truth. So it started with Myrtle. In her family, a number of people had died of tuberculosis. And she was sick. She got tuberculosis. And she decided that was probably going to be the death of her. And then she went one weekend to a workshop. And what she heard and what she took with her and what transformed her life and the world, I'm getting God bumps because that's why we're sitting here. She heard, I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. Do not inherit sickness because I am spirit. I am God. I am not the allness of God. I am part of an aspect of God. So what did that look like for her? It looked like spending 2 to 3 hours a day in silence, listening, and also going to every part of her body and loving it and asking it for forgiveness for not having treated it well and appreciated it. She healed herself of tuberculosis. Yeah, that deserves an applause. And think about it. At one time, well, in my time, I don't know about whether you younger people think this or realize this or not, but there was a time when cancer was a death sentence. It's not anymore. And that's because we have continued to do, as Jesus said, that we would do greater things. And we are. And a lot of it is coming from that stream of consciousness, this pure positive stream of consciousness. We call them divine ideas. And when we get one, we can run with it or not. And that's okay, because if we don't run with it, somebody else will. They'll pull it down and say, that's a really good idea, and I'm going to make a lot of money with that. Or we look at Alzheimer's, for instance. And for a very long time, that was also a death sentence. My grandfather had Alzheimer's. I think he was sick with Alzheimer's for 10 years before he passed. And that, you see what I'm talking about when I talk about the importance of the health of your brain and your body, so that you can be conscious while you're here and being the best Christ self or divine self or Buddha self that you can be. So back to the story, Charles, Myrtle's husband, looks over at her, sees what she's done, that she's healed herself of something that you didn't heal yourself of back then. And he had a ice skating accident as a child. And it was so bad, his leg was so badly injured that it stopped growing. So it stopped growing at the speed of the other leg. So let's just say he had quite a lift that he had in his shoe to kind of keep him balanced. So he used her way of healing herself. He did the same thing. And I know that some of you out there have done that yourself. And he grew his leg, y'all. I know this sounds like airy fairy woofy, but it's not. These are facts. That by the time Charles Fillmore passed, he had just a slight limp. He was no longer using the lift on his shoe. So yeah. So that's not, and we are not the group that says, don't go to doctors, don't use medicine. We're not that group. We realize that everything is God. All the medicine is, and the help that we can get, all that we can do. And it really helps if we can work with our mind, if we can love our brain and love our bodies beyond all of these, facts that the world wants to push on us. So I did some work myself because of I'm a child of God, and I do not inherit sickness. My father, before he died, had some dementia, but I'm telling you, the difference between my grandfather, who was his father, And my dad, no difference. I mean, all the difference, I'm sorry, because my dad had a slight bit of dementia. He had some dementia before he left this plane, but it could have been worse. And I believe that is because this lady here, um, she fed him well, and she worked with him and his brain and his thoughts and his affirmations, and we're grateful. He never got to that point where he didn't recognize us. He was still saying affirmations at the very end of his life. So I decided I'm going to do some research on brain health. How many of you have heard of Dr. Daniel Amen? When I Googled brain health, he popped up, and he's really dynamic, and so it's easy to listen to him, it's easy to learn from him. And then that led me to, you know how it works, right? One book or one inspirational person leads to another, and you just keep, as long as your mind and your heart are open, it's infinite. So I found Dr. Dale Bredesen. Anyone heard of him? Okay, he has been doing research with about the brain, Alzheimer's, dementia for 35 years. He's written at least 3 books, 2 or 3 books that I know of. The first one was The End of Alzheimer's. Has anybody heard that Alzheimer's can be cured? Okay, so some of you are we're starting to hear that. That's a really new thing. So he has a whole protocol, and you're just gonna love what it is some of the things that you have to do for a healthy brain. Anybody want to guess? Walk, think that will help. Yes, definitely. So exercise your brain is an important one, and what you eat, diet. Haven't the doctors, I mean, we've heard that. It's like, shut up, quit telling me that. But it's true, y'all. And sugar is one of the worst things that we can put in or anywhere around our bodies. We have a milestone birthday yesterday. Bob has a big birthday. I'll let him tell you how old he is. But so I'm like, oh, we should get a cake. About balloons instead. Happy birthday, Bob. So the quote I want to read you this morning is from The Ageless Brain by Dale Bredesen, Dr. Dale Bredesen. Some of the other things, by the way, that yes, the diet, the exercise. You didn't want to hear that either, did you? Yeah, some of you. Okay. So, the other book, The First Survivors of Alzheimer's. That's big. Yeah, that's a new thing. So oxygen, your brain needs oxygen. We don't breathe deep enough. We don't breathe consciously enough. And oftentimes we don't get enough exercise. And I'm going to start affirming that I make, and I have been. I started in, I believe it was December of last year, exercising every day, 6 days a week, and an extreme shift in the diet. No sugar, no white flour, no processed foods, no none of that. All whole foods. So fuel, your brain, your body needs fuel. It needs oxygen. It needs the positivity that we really stress here at Unity. So let me read to you why I'm so hyped up about this. Let's read it from here. This is from The Ageless Brain. Dr. Dale Bredesen. Researchers from the Blue Cross Blue Shield Association, the umbrella organization for dozens of locally operated companies that provide health insurance coverage for about a third of Americans were taken aback by the seeming growth of early onset dementia and Alzheimer's. They resolved to track the phenomenon more closely. In 2020, the organization released the startling results of that effort. Yes, the report's authors affirmed the vast majority of cases are found in Americans over the age of 65. But between the years of 2013 and 2017, the researchers found there had been a 143% increase in diagnosis among those between the ages of 55 and 64. A 311% increase in diagnosis for those between ages 45 and 54. That's quite a hike there. And a 373% increase in diagnosis for those between 30 and 44. Hard to imagine, isn't it? And if you want to blame anything, you can blame it on this wonderful thing that we call, as Jesus said, we'll do greater things. Well, you know, there's a lot of divine ideas out there, but then they have to come through a clear channel. They have to come through a consciousness that has raised itself to a level of, like Eddie Murphy said, I love myself. I'm not going to do those things to myself because I love my brain, I love my body, I love myself, and I want to be a clear channel. So when there's divine mind, there's this, this amazing idea of something sweet. And I'm sure the intention was a bowl of blueberries, organic blueberries, but it came down as some jelly belly something through some people, and then we all went, oh, jelly beans, they're the greatest thing. And then you see where that goes. I got a mouthful of cavities and crowns and root canals. And so among the latter group, the researchers estimated that nearly 20,000 Americans in their 30s and early 40s had been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's in a single year. This was a review of commercially insured Americans. What that means is that it likely underreported the prevalence, since income and employment, the two main determinants for health insurance, are associated with disparities in rates of Alzheimer's disease. So if I wouldn't have shared that with you this morning, you wouldn't have known, but you also maybe wouldn't have known just how important your spiritual life is to the health of your body and mind, and vice versa. The health of your body and mind is to your spiritual health and the vibrant being that you affirm that you are. I'm going to close with a quote from, and I use this for our meditation, our guided meditation this morning. This is Empowerment. You've seen this before. We use this a lot, by John Randolph Price. You are not a physical body. You are the sum total of all energies in expression as pure consciousness. You live above the physical vehicle. Your brain functioning as an apparatus to receive and transmit information received from your mind, or we might say mind with a capital M, God mind, divine mind. So we say yes to all those beautiful divine ideas for abundance for each one of us, and for unity, and for our world. So it is. few minutes of meditation. We don't always have time for that, and I made sure we had time today. So let's take a deep breath if that's comfortable for you, and do it at your own rate and speed. And as you're doing it, think about how you're giving your brain and your body something it really needs more of: oxygen. Just stay with that a moment. Just stay with the breath and the beauty of that you don't have to think about it. It just does it. And oftentimes when we think about it is when it starts to get wonky. And so once again this morning, we know that not everything is for everyone. So we take what we want, we leave the rest. And our prayer is that you take with you just the magnificence of you and of that amazing brain and body that you have. We pray that you take with you a love for yourself, every aspect of you. We don't make mistakes. We have opportunities to learn and to expand and to grow and to be new and to do it differently. I love myself. I invite you to affirm that in the silence of your mind. I love myself. I love my brain. I love my body. My brain functions as an apparatus to receive and transmit information from divine mind. I am grateful for that apparatus, and I take good care of it. I appreciate all that it's done for me and what it continues to do. I have come to this place because of my amazing brain and the Spirit of God moving and speaking and living through it. So I am humbled this morning in deep gratitude and appreciation for the beauty of myself and each one of you, the light that you are, for those around you, and the light that you are in the world.